Nazis tried to kill him. He smiled back and sank 44 ships in just 2 years. In the dark waters of World War II, where steel monsters prowled beneath the waves and death could strike without warning, one man became a nightmare for Nazi Germany. They hunted him relentlessly. They wanted his submarine destroyed. They wanted his name erased from the sea. But instead of fear, he smiled. And in just 2 years, he sent 44 enemy ships to the bottom of the ocean. This is the story of Captain Edward Young of the Royal Navy, one of the most daring and unconventional submarine commanders of the Second World War. A war beneath the waves. World War II wasn't only fought on land and in the skies. Beneath the oceans, an invisible war raged, a deadly chess match between submarines and surface fleets. The Nazis depended heavily on sea routes. Oil, weapons, food, and troops moved across the Mediterranean and Atlantic like arteries feeding the German war machine. Cut those arteries, and the body weakens. Submarines were the scalpel. But submarine warfare was brutal. Crews lived in cramped steel tubes. Air was stale. Silence was survival. One mistake could mean a watery grave. And into this deadly world stepped Edward Young, the man who didn't look like a warrior. Edward Young didn't fit the image of a hardened war hero. He was known for his calm demeanor, sharp wit, and almost unsettling cheerfulness. While other commanders barked orders, Young joked with his crew. While others obsessed over danger, he focused on opportunity. And when Nazi patrols intensified their hunt for Allied submarines, Young didn't panic. He adapted. Command of HMS Storm. In 1943, Young took command of HMS Storm, a British submarine assigned to the Mediterranean, one of the most dangerous naval theaters of the war. German and Italian forces dominated the region. Enemy destroyers, aircraft, and mines made survival uncertain. Many submarines never returned. But Young had a plan. Laughing in the face of death. When Nazi forces began tracking HMS Storm, Young knew the odds were against him. Instead of avoiding danger entirely, he used it. He began operating aggressively, attacking supply lines close to enemy ports where no one expected a submarine to strike. Enemy captains were confused. This wasn't how submarines were supposed to behave. Young would surface at night, launch torpedoes, then vanish before the enemy could react. And when depth charges exploded around the submarine, shaking the hull like thunder, witnesses later recalled that Young grinned, calmly issuing orders as if nothing was wrong. Precision, not luck. This wasn't recklessness, it was mastery. Young studied enemy shipping schedules, patrol routes, and harbor defenses in obsessive detail. He memorized patterns, he predicted reactions. Every attack was calculated. Cargo ships, tankers, armed transports. One by one, they disappeared beneath the waves. The Nazi response. It didn't take long for German intelligence to notice. Reports flooded in. Ships lost without warning. Convoys vanishing at night. Ports suddenly unsafe. A pattern emerged, and it pointed to one submarine. The Nazis specifically targeted HMS Storm. Aircraft searched relentlessly. Destroyers hunted day and night. Mines were laid in expected escape routes. Edward Young became a marked man, turning the hunt around. Most commanders would retreat. Young did the opposite. When he realized the Nazis were predicting his movements, he changed tactics completely. He attacked where they weren't looking. He slipped through shallow waters considered too dangerous. He used coastlines as cover. He waited patiently, sometimes for days, for the perfect moment. And when the moment came, he struck. 44 ships in 24 months. Between 1943 and 1944, HMS Storm became one of the most successful Allied submarines of the war. By the end of Young's command, 44 enemy ships destroyed or damaged, thousands of tons of supplies eliminated, critical Nazi logistics disrupted across the Mediterranean. Each sinking weakened the Axis war effort. Fuel shortages worsened, supply delays increased, troop movements slowed. All because one man refused to be intimidated. The crew who trusted him. Young's success wasn't his alone. His crew trusted him completely.
They believed in his calm under pressure. They believed in his decisions, even when depth charges fell like rain. In interviews after the war, sailors described him as unshakable, intelligent, surprisingly cheerful. Fear spreads quickly in submarines. So does confidence. Young gave them confidence. Close calls and narrow escapes. There were moments when survival seemed impossible. Once, HMS Storm was trapped beneath enemy destroyers for hours. Depth charges exploded so close that lights shattered and gauges failed. Some men were certain they wouldn't make it. Young calmly adjusted depth, slowed the engines, and waited. Eventually, silence. The enemy believed the submarine destroyed. It wasn't. Recognition and legacy. Edward Young's achievements did not go unnoticed. He was awarded the Distinguished Service Order and 2 bars, one of the highest honors for naval officers. But he never bragged. To him, sinking ships wasn't about glory, it was about duty. After the war, Young returned to civilian life quietly, leaving behind a legacy written not in words, but in wrecks scattered across the seafloor. Why his story matters. Edward Young's story isn't just about war, it's about mindset. When hunted, he didn't freeze. When pressured, he didn't crack. When faced with overwhelming odds, he adapted and overcame. The Nazis tried to kill him. He smiled back, and then he changed the course of the war beneath the waves. Final words. History often remembers generals and politicians, but wars are also won by individuals, men and women who operate in silence, far from headlines, making decisions that ripple across history. Edward Ned Young was one of them, a man the Nazis feared, a commander his crew trusted. The silence after victory. When the war finally ended, the oceans grew quieter. Convoys sailed without constant fear. Ports reopened. Supply lines slowly returned to normal. But beneath the waves, the evidence of Edward Young's war still remained. Twisted steel hulls resting on the seabed, silent witnesses to battles no one saw. Young never spoke much about those years. For him, the war wasn't a story of explosions and triumph. It was a memory of long nights, whispered commands, and decisions made in total darkness. A different kind of courage. Courage isn't always loud. Sometimes it looks like a man sitting calmly in a steel tube, knowing that one mistake could end dozens of lives, yet choosing clarity over panic. Edward Young didn't fight with rage. He fought with control. Where others saw fear, he saw patterns. Where others hesitated, he acted. That is why the Nazis never truly understood him. They expected desperation. Instead, they faced precision. Why the Nazis failed to stop him. The German Navy had superior numbers in many regions. They had air support. They had technology. But they underestimated something far more dangerous, a commander who refused to think like everyone else. Young didn't follow predictable rules. He rewrote them. And in warfare, unpredictability is lethal. The human cost he never forgot. Despite his success, Young was never careless with life. Every attack was measured. Every risk was weighed against his crew's safety. He knew that victory meant nothing if his men didn't come home. That responsibility stayed with him long after the war ended. Friends later said he carried the weight of command quietly, never boasting, never exaggerating, never seeking fame. History's quiet winners. Many war heroes fade into footnotes. Their battles happened too far from cameras, too deep beneath the surface. But without men like Edward Young, history would look very different. The Mediterranean campaign might have dragged on longer. Supply lines might have remained intact. Thousands more lives might have been lost. His impact was invisible, but undeniable. One final thought. When the Nazis hunted him, they believed fear would break him. They were wrong, because fear only works on those who surrender to it. Edward Young didn't. Not because danger wasn't real, but because he knew who he was under pressure. And that made all the difference. Some warriors conquer land, some rule the skies, but a few change history in silence.